Hi, and welcome to this section where we're going to talk about classes. So we're going to talk about objects in general first, just objects in Python, and also just in general object-oriented programming. What are objects? And then we will look at what classes are and how these relate to objects when we're writing code. So we'll take a look at how we can instantiate and initialize objects given a class. Those are two separate steps in Python, and we'll see that the one that we deal with 90% of the time is actually the initialization, not the instantiation. We have to instantiate, but Python does that for us. So then we'll take a look at class and instance attributes. And those are things basically that give us functionality on the objects and the classes. Things like data, data that's contained in an object. Like if you have a car object, a piece of data might be the number of doors that the car has. And then we have functions, which is functionality that the object provides. For example, if we have a car object, we may have a function called start car. Okay, those are things that are called attributes in general, and we kind of distinguish between them in terms of data attributes and function attributes or methods. So it's very important when we start looking at methods in classes and objects that we understand this binding mechanism that Python does. When we call a function that's associated to an object, the function is actually bound to something, and it can be bound to the instance, in which case we have an instance method. And so we'll take a look at what those are. Those are probably the ones, if you've done object-oriented programming before, that you're the most used to. But then we also have things called class methods, where the function is actually bound to the class, not to the instance. And then we also have static methods in Python. And in Python, a static method is simply a method that exists inside a class, but isn't bound to either the class or an instance when it gets called. So we'll take a look at all of those. And then lastly in this section, we'll take also a good look at properties. Now, properties are something that are kind of a hybrid between data and functions. They usually are used for data in our objects, but we actually use functions to get access to that data. So we'll see exactly how all that works. So thanks for watching. Let's dive in, and I'll see you in the next videos.